Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Mark Brappy and this is Trans Nation's eSports F1 category. We are just waiting for everyone to ready up. So, round 18, Mexican Grand Prix. It's the highest track above sea level that we go to on the F1 calendar. So I'm just letting everyone know that we're live in the Discord chat. So if everyone would like to ready up, that would be great. So championship standings are: John Lindenberg is currently leading the championship. You can't say winning, that's the wrong word because it's not finished. So John is leading on 296, and then you got Bailey Ford in P2 on 266, so it's 30-point gap. Now John's not here again for qualifying, but he is turning up. Mackenzie Stewart's just got in at this and at the right time here. So Bailey by 30 points behind. So that's the battle for the Drivers' Championship right there. Mackenzie Stewart is in P3 to take the final step in the Drivers' Championship, but with 212 points. But then you got Josh Banks coming for a strong finish of the season on 200 points. So they're only 12 points apart. So there's a good battle there for P3 as well. Sebastian Spicer is P5 on 114 points. Now, Sebastian will probably miss the rest of the season due to his wheel actually broke on him last night, so he won't be able to race. So that's very unfortunate there for Sebastian. He was putting on some good showings there, so we're just waiting for everyone to ready up, which is actually, hang on, we've just started to get the countdown now. So 11 drivers today, with myself being the one and only commentator. And if we do hear a bit of background noise, it's just my young fella. He's here watching the race, so we'll probably get some cheering on from him later, depending on who's doing what. But the Mexican Grand Prix, we had a bit of delay in the F3 session. We got underway with qualifying just fine, and then we went to load into the race and the whole server froze, so we had to restart. So hopefully we get none of that today. Good morning, Jack Price. Come on 40 in the YouTube comments. So Bailey's got a fan out there, and hopefully he can do get a good qualifying position and take the fight to John with only 4 rounds left after this one. We will have USA next week, and then we go to I think there's one before Brazil. No, there's not. There's USA, Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi. So hopefully this championship goes all the way to Abu Dhabi and we get a good battling there. So just waiting for cars to come out onto the pitch straight. Now the track itself is, I think it's the longest run down to turn 1 that they have all season. So a lot of straight line speed needed for this main straight. And then you got all turns 1, 2 and 3 are a quick S-ing, 90-degree corners in succession. So that's turns 1, 2, 3, and then you've got turn 4, 5 or another 90-degree turns after another DRS straight, excuse me for having hiccups, that ends sector 1, and then you get sector 2, which is a bit like a Japan quick S's, mainly based up. So that's you know, you need a bit of aero there, but you don't want to be running too much for this very long main straight. And then sector 3 is it's not technical, but it's a lot slower than what the rest of the track is. So here at the moment we're viewing Addy's Mercedes. So this is the quick S's I was just talking about, and it's actually a very good it's a very good feeling if you get it all right. It can be a horrible feeling if you get it all wrong though. So yeah, so Addy's no longer first going to set a lap. I think it's Aaron. So here he comes into the final corner. This is where I crashed out on my qualifying lap, on my outlap as well, on the hard compound tyres. But Aaron's got better control of his car than what I did. Comes across the line to start the first flyer of the session. He's got a bit of traffic just up ahead. You know, all these guys have a lot of racing etiquette, and they know to get out of people's ways and everything. We don't really have a lot of carnage in the F1 category compared to the rest of the categories that we do run. So Aaron's just come into sector 2. Now this is probably the slowest part of sector 2 here, beside a grandstand. That double apex right-hander catches a few drivers out. So we've got a McLaren, that's Stuart McKenzie, in the way here for Aaron. So that would have just slowed him down a little bit. McKenzie, I thought McKenzie might have gotten out of the way a little bit sooner, just backed off. But you see, behind Aaron is Addy's caught right back up to him. So the different compound tyres, but Aaron will want to do a couple of laps on these hards before they get into their rhythm, whereas Addy's softs will go straight, get straight up. So Addy goes quickest with a 15.9, Aaron does a 17.2 on his hards. He'll probably cool them down and then do another lap. Luke Barter's in the Toro Rosso has done a 17.5. He won't be overly happy with that lap, but again, he could probably cool him down and go again. Alex has gone P2 now with a 16.9. So these times are still relatively slow. We had 15.9s for pole was well, 15s was our pole in the F3 time, so we're expecting maybe a 14 for F1 guys. They are a lot quicker than the F3s. So we've had a few people join. I think Tao there was our third person to join through qualifying, so that will take us up to 14 drivers when we get the race underway, with still John Lindenberg to join as well, so that'll put us up to 15. So Mackenzie Stewart, bit of a lock up there into the podium section. Bailey goes quickest with a 14.7 on his soft compound tyres. Now for our strategy, as Mackenzie's aborted the lap, so being on the hards, our strategy in the F3 was mediums to hards, thinking the softs were going to go make you do a 2 stint. So very interesting to see Bailey doing a soft tyre run this early with a 14.7. Josh Banks has just banked one with a 15 flat to put the Toro Rosso up to P2 at the moment, provisional P2. So Aaron's still going on a lap here, still running those hard compound tyres, and about now they'll start to get their groove and feel a little bit fresher than what they were at the start. Mackenzie's still in pit, Engine's still in pit, Todd Jacobs out there as Aaron goes very wide into the stadium section using the eSport line there, all of the track and some. So this is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Very cautious into the final corner. Is going to come across the line. What does he improve to? A 16.5. Puts him up to P4. So he's the first of the people that aren't running a soft compound tyre. So that'll give himself some confidence. And he'll probably box now and put on a set of mediums, I would imagine. Alex is coming in the pits for Ferrari. Kush is out there on his hards, just doing the slowdown lap by the look of it. We'll see if he's going to go one more. Luke Barters is on an out lap. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him. Who was that? If we can get, that's Addy Bettenbauer just in front of him. And Addy's on a set of softs as well, so that won't matter too much. Now, who was it? Kush. Yes, so Kush is just going another flyer lap now, so in a minute or so we'll get back to that and see what that's doing. Aaron's on an in lap by the look of it, or a cool down lap at least. Manuel in the Haas is coming up into sector 2 now on his hard compound tyre, so he'll probably do another lap. Mackenzie Stewart is still out on his hards, still yet to set a lap. Engine's yet to set a lap. Engine's selected the soft, and Todd or Jacob is P11 still yet to set a lap. So Manuel coming into the final sector now, into the stadium section. Is probably the best looking stadium section on the entire calendar, personal preference. As the cars go over that, under that little overpass for the people there, as Manuel didn't actually improve, or if he didn't improve his starting position. So Isaac Kush comes across the line to do a 17.1. He improves by a little bit, but not by enough. Luke Barters is on a flyer, as well as Addy. Addy's through the S's. Now he's got a Toro Rosso in front of him. It's not Luke, so it must be Josh. It is. Josh has got out the way. So that's twice now Addy's been caught in traffic through those S's on a flying lap. Now you might be thinking, well, if the drivers are getting out the way, it won't be causing them too much lap time, but being Addy just improves to a 15.3, being that you don't actually know what that person's going to do, you go a little bit cautious in the back of your mind, and you might think, well, it's not actually costing me any time. But when qualifying's only set by 0.3 of a second from first to second, and the top 4 are all within a second of each other, you know, a tenth here and there can really make a difference to your starting lap. Josh has aborted this lap, so he's obviously corner cut there at turns 1, 2 or 3. Engine goes quickest with a 14.6, so that's an absolute flyer there. Mackenzie's going to go out on the soft compound tyres, Toddy onto the medium. So top 5 are all doing softs, and no one will better that time on a harder compound. So Bailey coming into the S's, absolutely pushing this Renault, being the only Renault driver here probably for the rest of the season, I would imagine. Really takes out the constructors fight, but I think this McLaren already had that sewn up. So Bailey's just coming across the line. No, he's aborted that lap and coming into pits. So that's very interesting. So who's on a lap at the moment? Josh is just starting another lap. So what can he do? Puts it into overtake ERS. I'm assuming engine will be in max mode. And one thing I was saying in the F3 once I crashed out and I did a bit of live comming for Brett Keenan and Matthew Elliott is the one thing we need for the next F1 game is a mini map for the spectators to be able to have so we can see where everyone is. And good morning to you, Sebastian Spicer. We miss you dearly here on the track. Hopefully you can sort out a new steering wheel pretty soon. But so at the moment Josh is coming around the final turn to do a 14.5 to go P1, provisional P1. So that is a blistering time by the top three to be in the 14s, and it's by 0.2 of a second that the top three are out by. So again, that bit of a hold up for Addy through the S's. He's 0.6 off of Bailey, so I don't think he's going to, I don't think it would have cost him that much. But as Mackenzie's coming through a flyer, so Addy's 0.6 off of Bailey, 0.8 off of the lead. So yeah, I don't think it would have cost him that much in time through the S's, both hot laps. But if he can find that time, as Mackenzie's coming across the line, what can he do? It looks like to be a 15.4 to put him up to P5. Hello from Tyler Beasley in the streams comments, and Sebastian has put hope to have a new wheel this Arvo. So disregard everything I've just said 5 minutes ago about him, Bailey, not having a teammate for the rest of the season. Hopefully Sebastian can get on top of that and be back for next round at USA, which by the sounds of it he will be. So Luke Barters comes across the line now with about 4.5 minutes to go. Jacob is still the only one yet to set a time. Our top six are all on the soft compound tyres now. And remember, there's still 4 people that have joined the lobby since the race has started, since qualifying has started. So we've got, I think there is a total of 15 drivers now. So we've got a few fast guys will be at the back again. Tyler Beasley, John Lindenberg, Tao will all be at the back. Sebastian just puts now in the comments as we're watching Luke do his flyer, just sucks that Mexico is one of my favourite tracks. Well, that's unfortunate for you, Sebi. Yeah, I think Bailey could have really done with your help today, and try and getting him a bit closer to the championship point. Now Luke goes P4, so he's still doing his teammate very good justice. As Tyler says, unlucky to Sebastian for breaking that wheel. I don't actually know how Sebastian broke it. It happened last night, apparently, so whether or not it was something on the inside or he got frustrated and actually snapped it, I don't know. It's got nothing to really do with me. I'm just a commentator. I'm a good mate with Sebastian, but yeah, unfortunately we're not in the same state or even close to each other, so I can't lend him my wheel. Otherwise I would have. But Josh Banks is on an outlap. Engine's still in pits, Bailey's still in pits. I'd want to start getting the car ready about now-ish. Luke won't get another lap, I don't think. We'll just watch this, make sure he doesn't corner cut anywhere to get a penalty. No, he's not. So it'll be a very tight turnaround for Toro Rosso Honda to service that car and get it back out. You have got about 2 minutes, so it'll be very touch and go. Mackenzie Stewart's on an outlap. He's just letting Manuel through. Manuel's actually on a flyer, so very good track awareness there by Mackenzie Stewart. Todd's still yet to set a lap. He just done a 1:18, but it was invalidated, so Toddy not having the greatest of qualifying sessions on medium compound tyres. Manuel's coming through the stadium section now. What can I thought he backed out of it then, but he's still going. So he hasn't he hasn't improved, so that he's got one more chance. Cush is coming across the line. Bailey and Engine are out. Addy's out. Luke's still in the pit lane, so he won't get another lap in. Cush didn't improve his positioning. Addy's into sector 3. Bailey's into sector 3, just getting out of the way for Jacob, so that's good awareness. And Engine is coming into sector 3, so Engine might be on the cusp of not making another flyer, but remember there is a time delay on my screen, so these guys will still all get it. We wait for the checker flag from Luke because he's in the pits, so to give us this checker flag, so 30 seconds delay is now, so there's quite a bit of delay today as we get Bailey on an outlap according to the timing boards. So there we have it, about a 40-second delay. So at the moment Mackenzie's gone to P4, pushed Luke back to P5. So is it couldn't improve. Jacob's still yet to set a lap, so that's Jacob's qualifying done and dusted. Addy's coming across the line. He improves to a 14.9 to put himself P5. So Bailey's coming across the line. What can he do? To a 14.5 to take the provisional pole. Our next up will be Engine. What can he do? Manuel's jumped to P8 to do a 16.3. So Engine's coming around the final bend now. What can Engine do? He doesn't improve. He's 16.4, so probably should have seen that. Josh is backed out of this one as well, so he must have invalidated. So Bailey Ford takes another pole for victory, unless if Manuel can absolutely throw something out of the bag here on the medium compound tyres. No, he can not. So Bailey Ford with another pole position up to his name. Now I'm not even going to try and guess how many poles that is. So a quick rundown before the formation lap. Bailey Ford with pole with a 14.5, Josh Banks with a 14.5, Engine with a 14.6, Mackenzie with a 14.9, Addy with a 14.9. So not even half a second split in the top 5. And then you got Luke Barter's P6 with a 15 flat, Aaron with a P7 with a 15.9 on the mediums, so he's the first of the one stoppers. Manuel with a 16.3, Alex with a 16.9, Cush with a 17.1, and Toddy with a no time. So Sebastian, if you're still watching the stream, I've always thought that this was a one-stop mediums to hard sort of race. Can these top 6 do a one-stop softs to hards? If you could possibly let us know. Bailey's 7th. What? Oh, that must be his 7th pole position. And he's just said, yep. So I'm assuming that's for they can go soft to hard. So hopefully we don't have this glitch that we had in the F3. That timer's still counting down. I can't. Yes, it is. So now we've got John, Tao, Tyler are all to get sorted. So formation lap's underway. I'll do an onboard with a rundown of who's where. So Bailey Ford with his 7th pole position in the Renault in P1, Josh Banks in P2 for the Toro Rosso. They will be happy with that. Engine Sigala, I think it is, in P3 for the Alfa Romeo. They would be happy with that in real life. Mackenzie Stewart running the McLaren in P4. Addy Bettenbauer in P5 for the Mercedes. Luke Barters for the second of the Toro Rossos for P6. Aaron for P7 in the first of the Red Bulls, and I do believe the only Red Bull today. Manuela in the one and only Haas for today in P8. Alex in P9 for Ferrari. That's not what they're wanting, but true to real life form, Ferrari are imploding. Kush for P10 in the Racing Point. They would be happy with that. Jacob P11 didn't set a time in qualifying. Didn't really, I don't think it's really hurted him for the Williams, so they'd be happy with that, getting out of Q1 in real life. Tyler Beasley's actually got his proper car this week in P12. Unfortunately, make the start of qualifying. John Lindenberg is in the other Haas, should be in a McLaren for P13, and Tao is in the other Mercedes, should be in a Red Bull for P14. So that's your starting grid, ladies and gentlemen. Give us your predictions for the top 3 in the stream if you're still watching, as we wait for the lights to go and the revs to start building. So here we go, the revs are building, Bailey's got them going, and the lights are out, and away we go. Bailey's got an absolute start. Josh has got an absolute launcher of a start there, side by side. They're almost 4 wide into the first turn. Now this is what I mean, it's almost 5 wide as Addy's on the outside of them all. Josh has left a bit of room, Bailey's left room. Squeezed Engine a little bit out to the wide. So Bailey takes P1, Josh is P2. Stuart McKenzie's P3, but he's already been jumped by Luke Barter, so McKenzie goes back to P4, Addy to P5. Here we go again, Addy up the inside of Tyler's jump, the absolute gun. Mackenzie got an illegal overtake by the look of it. So Tyler's up to P5, Aaron P6. Engine's been absolutely decimated after that terrible turn 1, 2, 3 sector there. He's down into P7, so he's got a bit of work in front of him. Addy Bettenbauer into P8, he's had a terrible start as well, down 3 positions. Manuela in P9, down 1. Towel is up 4. He's going for a dive on Manuel into the stadium section. Can he make it move? Stick. He's now on the outside. He's on the softer compound tyre, so he should have the traction. We're just waiting for him to come around into the screen, and he has got that job done. So that's very well done. Manuel's P10, John's P11, Toddy's P12. Alex in the Ferrari has dropped down 4 into P13, and Kush is in the pits. So we'll go back to the front now. Bailey and Josh are really tucked up within each other, with Luke and Mackenzie tucked up as well. Josh is going for a dive down the inside. He's made the move stick. I think Bailey saw it coming and left him a bit of room. So Josh has taken the lead off of Bailey. Now Luke Barters is on the charge as well. Stuart McKenzie's got a bit of trouble with Tyler Beasley right behind him, so McKenzie can't just be all push. He's got to defend just a little bit because Tyler's jumped 7 positions. He's the mover of the field so far. So at the moment, Josh gets massive front wheel lock up there coming into that first corner of sector 3. I think it's every lap as well. So our 2 front runners are just, they're not pulling away as much as they have in previous races. So Addy gets a penalty. Josh does the quickest with an 18.4. So at the end of 2 laps, Josh Banks has got P1 at the moment. Bailey Ford in P2 with no DRS at the moment, being that it just got activated then in the detection lines before the start line. Luke Barter's in P3 doing another stellar drive for... Oh, it's Tyler Beasley in the background has spun it out of turn 3. So that won't be helping him. Toddy gets a massive tank slap too. So Tyler's gone around there. In the background we saw that Mackenzie's backed off of the back of Luke here. So Mackenzie's already starting to drop back. And he'll have Aaron closing up on him and Engine very quickly, so he might want to get a wriggle on. What else have we got? We got pretty much good fights everywhere. I don't want to take my eyes off this lead because this can change at any given moment. So it's only 6/10 now, and with this main DRS straight, this is going to hurt Josh an absolute mile. Bailey's got it in overtake mode. He's in high mode now as Tyler's retired from the session. As Bailey very close up to the back of Josh. He didn't want to go for that move in the end. They're happy just trying to pull away from Luke at this stage. So Tyler had such a good start, pushing too hard and had no front wing. So unfortunately there for Tyler after that brilliant start getting up to P4. But again, Tyler DNFs and just can't quite get his rhythm here at the Trans Nations eSports league race. I don't know how he goes with all the others, but so these front 2 are really starting to pull away now from Luke. And Luke's got Mackenzie right up the back of him now, so we'll just watch this battle just quickly because I don't think Bailey's going to go for a move anytime soon on Josh. They're just trying to get away from Luke by the look of it. So what can Mackenzie do on Luke? Luke's almost out of battery, so Mackenzie should have this easy. He's trying around the outside, is he? He's got the outside line, but it's not going to work there. You add so much extra track, but if you can get the over and under out of here, he might have a move done. Luke was charging battery there. Mackenzie, there's a bit of a squeeze. Mackenzie's going on the inside. Can he make the move stick like his fellow Kiwi did, Josh, for the lead? So Mackenzie takes P3 out of all of that. Luke did try and squeeze him and defend it as hard as he possibly could. So great racing there by the 2 not to have any contact, as Engine's got around Addy and Aaron. So Engine now will be making a fight back. Toddy's up 1 position. Manuel's just falling further and further back now, P11. Alex in the other Ferrari has dropped back as well. So John's having a clean race at the moment, up 4 positions. So John's having a stellar race. Tau's up 6 positions, so he's having a great race from missing qualifying as well. But we'll go back to the lead because this is what you all want to see. Bailey Ford, you can just see he's not overly pushing the ERS to get this position. But on that lap alone from Mackenzie and Luke battling so hard through turns 4, 5 and 6 there. They've lost another second on these front two, so it could come down to an undercut for excuse me, an undercut possibly to put Mackenzie back into this fray, but he's just losing time over these two. Bailey and Josh have really got a system. Josh likes to lead and Bailey likes to follow. As it seems, they were doing it last week as well until they ran into, I think it was Yevgeny was on the opposing strategy, and Yev just not got in the way but over defending his position and cost Bailey some front wing. So again, these two just slightly pushing away now from Mackenzie. I'm just going to break here. We'll ride on board Bailey for a lap as I just have a break for a coffee drink. Bailey goes around, hang on, this brake might have to stop Bailey around the inside of Josh into turn 1. He's got the position done. Engine's got Luke as well there for P4. I see on the timing sheets. Where is that? It would have been into turn 1 the same as Bailey, so now we'll ride on board with Josh since he's P2 and see how Josh likes to follow now. I'll take a quick drinks break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back very shortly to conclude this race. So here we go again, Josh down on the end side of Bailey. The straight is so long that DRS really helps. So that's what a lap looked like around Mexico riding on board with Josh Banks. You saw there coming into the third sector again, he got very front. He must be running too much front brake biased because he locks up every time into that corner, or it's just a glitch on our screens. And we did see Bailey Ford getting a 3-second time penalty. So with his championship rival down in P8 at the moment, it is a big bank of points for Bailey to John, as Manuela just gets disconnected from the race. But I've sent everyone a few invites. They should all be able to get back in if that is the case. And the AI is set to be not as slow as what some people run their AI, but they should be comfortable for the back 5 pace-ish. So Mackenzie's fallen 3.3 seconds off this lead battle. Bailey has a look. No, he doesn't send it. So he's quite happy at the moment being behind. He's saving. Josh is actually saving a lot of. Josh has got more battery than what Bailey has. So that's interesting. The following car, more battery than the leading car. You'd think the leading car would be using more to defend the position, especially up that main straight. So lap 9, we should start to see some pit stops coming through now. So this should be interesting, as Manuela's already rejoined. Luke Barters has done one stop. He's gone on to soft, so he must have spun somewhere and damaged his car, because he started on the softs as well, so he's pitted for another set of softs. So that's a 2-stopper for Luke. So hopefully Toro Rosso haven't done that for Josh Banks as well and put him onto a 2-stop, but the way he's driving at the moment with Bailey Ford behind him, it's not looking to be a 2-stop as Towel is in the pits. Bailey gets P1 back. These two are just... Oh, Josh gets very tail happy there out of turn 3, you saw on that camera. Luke Barters goes quickest as he's on fresh tyres, so you'd expect that. Mackenzie's not really closing in here. Engine's battling with Aaron, so Engine's fallen back somewhere, so that's surprising to see because he was in front of Aaron and Addy, so Aaron being the first of the mediums to hard strategy. So yeah, last time Bailey tried a strategy like this was probably Baku, and we all remember what happened there. He got that rear tyre puncher for pushing too long. He done a week full of practice and nothing. As Bailey's now in pits, Josh has stayed out, so what does Mackenzie do? Mackenzie's in the pits as well, so they're both trying the undercut on Josh. This could work, it could not. Where is Bailey going to come out? I was going to say Bailey's been jumped there by Mackenzie, but he hasn't, so Bailey's coming out into Luke Barter's territory. So, and for some reason, ghosting is on there. So he's just in front of Manuel. But he's got Alex in front of him, a bit of traffic. So Mackenzie's actually been jumped by Towel. So Mackenzie won't like that. Engine's jumped Mackenzie as well. So I wonder what happened there to Mackenzie on his in-lap or out-lap. So Bailey's got a bit of traffic in front. Oh no, yeah, Bailey's got a bit of traffic. So what's our leader doing at the moment? Josh Banks with his big sister teammate Aaron in the Red Bull, following behind on the harder of the strategies. So Aaron will take the lead of this race on the medium compound tyre. What will Addy do? Addy stays out for one more. No, Addy's in the pits as well, sorry. So it's Aaron in front of John Lindenberg to go up to P2, in front of Jacob Todd in P3. Josh comes out. Will he come out in front of Bailey or behind? He's come out behind Bailey. Bailey's made the undercut work beautifully. And got around Alex as well. So that is a beautiful strategy call there from the Renault, just to get Bailey in. But our big loser out of that is Stuart Mackenzie. He's been jumped by Addy as well, so he's had a terrible pit stop there, has Mackenzie Stewart. So we'll go, we're expecting the leaders in, I'd probably say in 5, maybe 6 laps time, and they will put hards on, and obviously they will have a very fresh set of hards compared to the likes of Bailey, Josh, Engine, Addy, Mackenzie. So don't cut out these top 3 at the moment. Bailey is only 9 seconds off of Todd, so, or 10 seconds off of Todd, so if he catches up too quick, there'll be a pit stop out. Todd's right on the back of John, actually. That's great racing there for John, as Josh gets around Alex. Luke's trying to go it as well. Alex on the starting tyre on the medium, so he's still yet to pit. Luke Barters will have to pit again, I'll imagine, for a set of mediums. So out of the entire field, he will have the quickest tyre at the end of the race. but depending on if he can get around Alex now and follow his teammate for a few laps, he might actually be within a good strategy call. As you see, everyone now is getting a few penalties. Stuart McKenzie's got another 3 seconds, so it's very easy here to get penalties because the corners have so much runoff, as we see there from Towel in the background. So Mackenzie's starting to climb his way back through. Manuel is still ghosting because he can't seem to find a stable internet connection. So Luke around Alex now down the main straight. Job done before the braking section, so whether or not Alex just let that go or not, Engine's got through Manuel. So that's another spot. So Bailey only made up 0.3 of a second on John that time around. Actually, not really watching this front battle because they might be 1, 2 and 3 on track, but for pit stops, so all top 3 have still got to stop. Bailey's currently our provisional leader, being the first one to have made his stop and actually pulling a gap on Josh Banks. So whether or not Josh's car isn't really set up on these hard compound tyres or he just can't find the balance at the moment, but Josh will have his teammate coming up on him maybe. Luke's soft tyres will be starting to fade, so maybe that might be Josh's saviour, as he won't have to defend from his teammate and concentrate on trying to close that gap to Bailey. But at the moment, that's our standings. So almost halfway through this race, we got Aaron in P1 for Red Bull, which typically in real life is not the strongest track for Red Bull. But being so high in altitude, they do generate a lot of mechanical grip out of their cars. So being at such a high altitude in the thin air, they seem to have the grip. They don't have the engine power, but they've always got the grip around here. Bailey's closing in, and so's Josh on Bailey actually. Josh has picked a couple of tenths up on Bailey, so this could turn into an interesting fight for the rest of the race. Josh has now got a 3-second penalty, so I do believe that's a 3 second each for the front 2 runners of Bailey and Josh. Now, I'm not encouraging as Aaron and Todd are both in pits, so that's interesting. John stayed out for one more lap. Aaron's gone onto the soft compound tyre. Is that a mistake for the Red Bull, or is he doing the opposite strategy to what Luke's trying to do in a 2-stopper? We'll have to wait and see, but that might have been a mistake from Aaron, considering Todd's on the hards. So Todd won't have to pit again, so Aaron's really got to make up a lot of time here, as he's got Engine just in front of him, so Engine won't make it easy by any means. But Aaron with the grip, with fresh 2 compounds softer than what Engine's running, as Engine left him a bit of room there. Very good racing here from the entire field in the F1 category today. Mackenzie's still getting a bit squirmish back there, so Mackenzie's lost a lot of ground, considering he was P3 before the pit stops, as he gets another 3-second time penalty. So Mackenzie might actually drop out of the chances here, because he's a consistently one getting penalties at this moment. So lap 17 out of 36. John Lindenberg still on his starting tyre in the Haas. Not his car of choice. He should be in a McLaren with Mackenzie Stewart, but because he turned up late, he got a Haas, and I think that's the second time in 3 weeks he's been driving a Haas. So, but anyway, he's just under 8 seconds adrift from this provisional 1-2 battle here of Bailey and Josh. Now Josh is caught right up to the back of Bailey, so I wonder if Bailey's just not liking these hards at the moment, or Bailey's just saving a bit of fuel maybe, and Josh was on a push for a couple of laps. I don't know. Luke in the other Toro Rosso will jump to P3 when John pits, but saying that, Luke will have to pit again as well, so that will drop him back out of P3. Aaron, I still think's on the wrong strategy to be doing a 2-stop here. If he come out on the hards, he would have been comfortable for a P4 at this provisional moment. He will jump John at this rate when John comes into pits, and he is pulling away from Engine and Mackenzie's try. Oh no, is that just Josh Banks has got another 3-second penalty, so that's 6 seconds for Josh now. Oh, what's happened here? Engine's been around, Addy's around as well. Tow's out wide. Mackenzie's got another illegal overtake by the look of it. So that's unfortunate for Mackenzie. He gets back on the power, so he had an illegal overtake on Engine. So I wonder if those two had contact, and that caught Addy and Towel up in it as well. So that's very interesting there. So Mackenzie not having the race that he would have wanted, as Towel gets a 3-second penalty for his multiple warnings. And it's a bit like a Hungary in Sector 2, Hungary with all those S's. There's a lot of runoff there, and if you, if that couple of K is too quick, you just hit that runoff and it just sends you even further wide, because there's no grip out there, and the understeer is terrible in an F1 car, as you could imagine. So Aaron gets around Luke. Addy's in the pits. This will be for a new front wing. So Addy obviously collided with someone to get that damage. Engine and Mackenzie is still battling. Engine's actually got the optimal fuel light on. So Engine's obviously running a bit less fuel than what we're expecting. So that will be a great little battle. Nothing happening up front at this moment. Josh is still following Bailey, and Bailey's closing up onto John. So as John goes onto lap 20, about to start lap 20, he's got the optimal fuel light showing as well. So 20 laps into this race, John Lindenberg still yet to pit, as Bailey Ford is closing the gap to John. So that's unfortunate. I think Manuel is just Manuela very angry with my connection, so that's unfortunate for him. His car's still running P11, and it's just pitted you onto soft compound tyres. So with 16 laps to go, you'll still need to pit again. I'm just wondering if John could get another 6 laps out of these mediums and go mediums to softs, as Mackenzie's in the pit for a new front wing as well. So that's unfortunate for Mackenzie. He's having a terrible race at the moment, which is actually going to bump Josh into P3 in the championship standings if he stays P2. So Mackenzie will lose that final step on the podium. Bailey will get closer to John, but John's saving grace is that Aaron and Luke both have to pit again as Luke comes in now. Josh Banks is on the inside of Bailey. But Bailey didn't let him go there. So that was very interesting. Remember, Josh has got 1 lap fresher tyres here. So now he's trying again around the outside. No, Bailey's covered that quite nicely. This is a beautiful camera angle here from the helicopter. I wish we could select this full time, and I would, because I do believe it just gives us all that little bit better viewing. So Josh Banks is just starting to put the pressure on the Bailey. You can see Josh has got a lot of batteries, 76% compared to Bailey's 24. So is John going to come into pits this lap? We got yellow flag sector 2 and 3. No one's changing any positions, so that must just be a little bit of a glitch. Just waiting to see if John's coming into pits. No, he's not. So he's staying out again. So he might be going on to the soft compound tyre, which will put him... it will give him a speed advantage over the rest of the field, but he's losing a lot of time, and it might just put him too far back to actually do anything, to actually mount a challenge. Because at the moment he's only 3.5 seconds up the road from these front two. So if they catch him, they will put a pit stop effectively on John, which is... Oh, Mackenzie gets 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So Mackenzie absolutely out of this race now due to time penalties. He is last anyway, so he was never in for any points, even if he could get back into the top 10, because he's now got about 21 seconds of penalties. So John's really losing time now. It's down to 2.8 seconds. So the top three are all closing in, and as I was just saying, John's... I don't know what the transit time is. I'd imagine about 18-19 seconds maybe. It's a very short pit road. And the entrance is quite quick, and then you got this massive long straight to get back up to speed. So at this point, engine could, as Mackenzie retires from session, probably just due to his such a bad run at the moment. Luke gets another penalty, so that will push Josh. As Josh goes for a move around the outside, Bailey's covered the inside. Very good driving from the two of them. Bailey's going the over and under. You can't quite get the traction down on those hard compound tyres. That's unfortunate. So Josh now takes the lead. Aaron's still behind them on his set of soft compound tyres as he gets a 3-second penalty. Now remember, Josh has got 3 seconds worth of penalties more than what Bailey has. And I don't actually think John has any at the moment, so that could be a big factor here. But John now coming in, still not in the pit, so he will be going onto the soft compound tyres for the end of this race. But will he be too far back? He's only 1.8 seconds in front of the two leading that have already stopped. Bailey's having go. No, he's not. So from what I've noticed out of Bailey and Josh for the last couple of races at least, Josh seems to manage his battery a lot better than what Bailey does. Bailey goes around the outside like Josh just did. That's around the outside for this one, but the inside for the next one, and he's made the move stick. Josh is going to have to pull out of it just here. Beautiful driving from these two. This is absolutely beautiful driving from the two young guys here, Bailey Fords and Josh Banks. Now, just because of that little battling, John's just got a couple of tenths of a second of fresh air from the both. So they were 1.8 down the main straight, and now they're at 2.1. So, you know, just 3, maybe 4 tenths of a second John's pulled out on him again. So John coming around, still not into the pit, so he's still pushing these medium compound tyres. He wouldn't want to be pushing too much more. He might get a puncture and that would throw his race completely out, especially if it happens in the first sector. So just quickly, ladies and gentlemen, then we'll go non-stop to the end. We'll go for a quick coffee drink again as Josh goes around the outside, this time of Bailey into turn 1, gets the job done. Now he'll have DRS, there is only the one detection zone. Aaron's back out on softs again, so that's a very strange strategy there from Aaron. So he's doing the 2-stop opposite to what, who was it? Yeah, opposite strategy to Luke was doing. He done 2 stints on the softs and then went to the mediums. Aaron's done his medium already and doing 2 onto the softs. So Aaron will have a lot of pace here at the end. He's got a lot of time to catch up as well. So at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, nothing really happened. Well, we got a battle closing in, so I'll take a quick drinks break and I'll get straight back to you. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Transnations eSports F1 category. So just there at the start of the break, we saw John Lindenberg come in the pits. He's put on his soft compound tyres. Now he's 7 seconds behind Todd for P3, but he's got Aaron right behind him, battling him with 1 lap older tyres, so they will be at race pace already. But even if he gets Todd, P3 will be the best position for John, starting from the back. Is the best he can ask for, which will mean he'll only lose 7 points on the Bailey if Bailey wins. So with 9 laps to go, Bailey on the inside. Now Josh got saved last lap because of John was right there. I don't know if that was just a bit of desync, but Josh had to back out of turn 1 just briefly there. Otherwise he's going to run in the back of Bailey's car. So Aaron does the quickest lap. So that could be the telling factor here, but Josh has a lot of battery left. Excuse me. Over what Bailey does. John's already pulled a gap on Aaron, so that won't matter, but Aaron's setting fastest laps at the moment. Engine's not had the race that he would have wanted after qualifying P3, and having a good start too. He's drag racing Bailey up to turn 1. Bailey and Josh really up to turn 1, so Josh doesn't have DRS this lap, so he's going to have to do it all by his own steam. Now actually he does have DRS, but he's not using it, so I didn't actually think he was within the time restraints, as Josh gets another 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, so that gives Bailey, if I am correct, 6 seconds. So now Todd's coming for soft, so he's going for a fastest lap stint, I would imagine. Now this is where Bailey would like his teammate to be involved. So Bailey, because at the moment John's got that extra point, So that will give him 16 points, I think it is. 15 for P3 plus the one for the fastest lap. So this is where Bailey would like his teammate just to be there. And if he didn't have a battle of his own, possibly go for a fastest lap just to take that extra point off of John, so it closes the championship standings up. But unfortunately, Bailey doesn't have that luxury this weekend. Josh is back in DRS range. Got DRS open. As Todd gets 3 seconds worth of time penalty, Josh locks up again into turn 1. What else have we got? Towers on the back of Addy for a Mercedes battle, but Tower should be Red Bull. Alex is on the back of Kush, so Kush isn't having a great race either, actually, down in P10 at the moment. Tower gets another penalty, so I think the only one without a penalty at this moment is John, and maybe Manuela, but Manuela's not actually driving, so that's unfortunate for Manuel. Mackenzie Stewart has just posted on the YouTube chat here, guys, worst race. So yeah, that wasn't the race that Mackenzie was hoping for, being battling for P3 on the Drivers' Championship. Got punted at turn 2 and got that illegal overtake. So yeah, that really threw Mackenzie's race out the door, as I said, and he was just banking up penalties coming through the quick S's pretty much every second lap. So yeah, unfortunate there from Mackenzie, but we've got a great battle here on track. At least I think penalties will come involved and Josh will lose P1 anyway. And then Mackenzie put then I locked up into engine, that's why he spun. So that was all that kerfuffling there that we saw earlier with engine and Addy and Tao. So Jacob just does the quickest lap to take that extra point off of John. So that's good news for Bailey. It gives him a 10-point advantage at the moment to John. Josh goes very wide and almost hits the wall. You don't want to be doing that too often, just to spice up the end of this race. With 6 laps to go, we've got Bailey Ford winning by 1.1 seconds over Josh Banks. John Lindenberg coming from, I'll just tell you, coming from P13 is in P3. Disqualified from the session is Tao for too many corner cuts. So that's that happened to me in season 2, actually, nearing on the end of the race as well. So a very easy track to get corner cutting penalties for. So as I was saying, John up to P3 from P13, so he will have the driver of the day at this moment. To push those mediums 25 odd laps or whatever it was an absolute stint. So yeah, that's great racing there from John. Aaron in P4, he'll be happy with that, as Aaron just gets 3-second time penalty now as well. So I wonder if anyone else is close to losing or being disqualified, close to disqualification due to amount of time penalties. I do believe it's about 30 seconds you're allowed, so it'll be interesting to go with 5 laps left. Josh Banks has just got back within DRS of Bailey, so Josh is really pushing here. I don't know if he's pushing for the move or he's just trying to push Bailey to make a few more errors and get himself a few more time penalties as well, because at the moment, I do believe Bailey's only got the 1 3 second and Josh has got 3 3 seconds, so Josh will not want to be getting any more, otherwise he'd be in danger of losing this position to John. If John, if what I am to believe is true and John doesn't have any penalties, I would check that for you, but then it means having the pause button over the stream and no one likes to see that, so we'll just have to wait until the end of the race to see what unfolds. But at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, with 4 laps to go, Bailey Ford has got another, he's at the front of the field yet again, which is a stellar season for Bailey coming into this one. If we push our mind back just 6 months ago for season 3, Bailey was nowhere in the F1 ranking, yeah, Bailey was nowhere of the rankings in season 3, and Josh and John were the 2 outstanding competitors. But now in this new game, Bailey's really coming alive now. I've got, could you show the penalties for the top 2? So I'll just quickly do that now. Incidents. So we've got, where are you? Ford, corner cutting. Ford, corner cutting warning. Josh, warning. Ford, warning. Ford, 3 seconds for Bailey at this moment. Josh, warning. Now this is why I didn't want to be doing it while the stream's running. Josh has got 3. I know Josh has got more than 3. Mackenzie had an absolute minefield here. Josh with another 3, so that's 6 for Josh. Nothing else for Bailey at this moment. Bailey's got a warning there on lap 20. Bailey's got another warning on lap 22. So Bailey will only have 1 more warning to go, and then he'll get another time penalty. Josh. So that's 9 seconds for Josh. So 9 seconds for Josh, 3 seconds for Bailey. Could you just go to the lap times? No, it doesn't really work like that because it doesn't show us whether or not they've got a penalty on their lap times, I don't think. But anyway, so Josh has got 9 seconds, Bailey's got 3, but Bailey will be on his last warning now. If Bailey's talking to his Jeff, Jeff might actually let Bailey know that Josh has got 9 seconds, and Josh would again know that Bailey's only got 3, so that could be why Josh is fighting so much, knowing Bailey's on his last warning. Well, he won't know that, but he might just be trying to push Bailey into getting a corner cut, a track extension somewhere. So, you know, anything's possible here with 2 laps remaining. But at the moment, Josh wouldn't want to get any more because he's only 12 seconds in front of John, which will put Josh down to P3 if Josh gets another 3-second penalty. So still everything to lose here for Josh for taking track limits. You know, taking too much track limits. So and I didn't actually catch if John had any, if anyone was watching the stream and paused it and studied it a bit closer than what I did. If they could let us know in the comment section. But here we go for the final lap of this Mexican Grand Prix down this massive main straight for the final time this season. These cars, the engine units will be starting to feel that they want to give up for the end of the season as well. Now, unfortunately, in multiplayer, you get a fresh component set every race, so we don't actually have that. But if they incorporated that into multiplayer realms, where everyone had their set car, and you've all got your engine components for the season, that would be a massive step up. As Todd jumps engine there for P5, but again penalties will come into play, and I don't think Todd will actually keep that position. But yeah, just to go back on that, if we could set up a custom championship round, or even if they did it in the leagues category, where everyone's set to their car, and if you miss your qualifying, you're still in your car, you just don't set a lap, obviously. So Bailey comes across the line to take the win. Josh Banks is 6 seconds behind. John Lindenberg will come home for P3, only 2 seconds behind Josh, so John didn't actually have any penalties. Aaron comes home P4 with all the confetti already flying. I'll get those three into the party chat in just a second. Luke Barters comes home for P5. For P6, actually engine jumps him due to time penalties. So Todd, after that daring move on, engine must have spun it somewhere. Addy's coming into P8. Addy jumps Todd by 0.8 of a second, so that was actually quite close. Kush comes home for P9. Alex in the Ferrari come home for the final point paying position. So I'll just bring these guys into the party chat, ladies and gentlemen. Just hang with me for 2 seconds while I do this. John, Josh and Bailey, so they've all got an invite in. So yeah, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your top three. Bailey Ford with another victory from the Trans Nations eSports F1 category. Josh Banks takes home P2 and comfortably P3 in the championship standings. And John Lindenberg actually, after another time out of qualifying, starting at the back of the field, he's come home to get P3, and we've just got John into the party. So John, nothing really to say qualifying. You've got other commitments at this moment to unfortunately have you missing the start of qualifying session. So straight into your race, mate. Great race starting from P13 to get to P3. How were those mediums at the end of your stint?
They're still pretty okay. We were lapping, I don't know, maybe half a second slower than the start of the stint. Obviously less fuel at that point, but they didn't drop off too badly, so when the others pitted for hards or for the 2 stops, I just decided to stay out and see if I could jump onto the softs towards the end, and it worked out quite well. Just didn't have the pace to match the top 2, and I think Todd's Aaron had a bit more pace in the first stint than me as well, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, you're losing a lot of time to the top 2 there at the end of your stint on the mediums. I think you lost near on 5 seconds in a couple of laps. So up here we were wondering, lap 15, 16, whether or not you're going to go onto the hards or if you're going to push it onto the softs, and you obviously pushed it onto the softs. Great drive to get up onto the podium and trying to eliminate Bailey's run back to you for the championship.
Yeah.
So
grab the points I can get.
Yeah, so we'll go to Josh. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so P2, mate, in qualifying. Just talk us through that lap quickly.
I did that lap on a 2 lap. Well, I did 2 laps, 2 out laps on that lap because I invalided 1 lap. Yeah, I feel like I could have gone a little bit quicker on my lap, but I was alright starting P2 anyway because I know the slipstream would have screwed me over anyway down into turn 1.
And there's a massive drag race down to turn 1. At one stage, I think you're 5 wide coming into turn 1, so it was a massive drag race. I don't think, P1 or P2, you got the launch on Bailey, the initial launch, and then Bailey just, really held his ground, and I think you were even 3 wide into turn 1 yourself, Engine and Bailey, so... and then we'll go on to your race. You were the first one, you were the last one to blink between yourself and Bailey for the hard compound tyres. Bit of a squabbling there for the two of yous on that first stint.
Yeah, I was originally going to pit on the lap that Bailey pitted, but decided to do the opposite, try and go for an overcut to see if it worked, but yeah, it didn't really work out as I planned, but the first stint was very exciting. Turn 1 was getting a bit nervous with the braking zone because I know people were trying to send it up the inside around the outside and things like that, so just trying to keep my nose clean there, but good squabble with Bailey the first stint, so...
Good, yeah, it was a good squabble the whole race actually. You weren't holding each other up until... I think it was that last overtake just before John pitted, where Bailey took you into sector 2 there, and done that move that you tried just a lap before. It really held you up. I think you've lost about 4 tenths to John on that lap alone. So, no, great battling for you and Bailey there to take home P2 again, and I think you actually take 3rd in the driver's standings now too, Josh.
I think so, yeah. I was a bit wobbly on the track limits. So in my last round, say last 6 or 7 laps, I was worried about John jumping me with penalties.
Yeah, so...
managed to hold on.
Now, another great P2, and we'll go to the winner, Bailey Ford. Are you there?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, another pole position. It's your 7th pole for the season, as your teammate have put here on the live chat. So just talk us through your pole lap quickly.
I guess it was nothing special.
Nothing special as a 14 flat or something stupid,
Oh, mid 14, no, but I know top guys punching very low 14s and stuff, and I think Josh would have done that, but his final lap, as he just said, was he messed it up and invalidated it. So I think I was pretty lucky to get away with the pole. And anyway, Mexico is not really the track you want to be sitting on there out of all of them with this one run down turn 1. But no, I was happy with it. I guess I'd take it.
Yeah, a lot of clean racing today between yourself and Josh. As I just said with Josh, I'll just get your aspect there on the first stint. You were helping each other pull away from Luke pretty much in the other Toro Rosso. Were you just trying to get out of the slipstream from the other guys behind you, or were you all concentrating on your race?
Yeah, a bit of both really. I think we both knew we had to try and get out of the DRS from all the other guys behind, because doing that would just cause us to lose more time and all that. So yeah, I think we both just put our head down. We were happy to sit behind each other for like the first couple of laps, and then as the stint weared on, we both started moving a little bit. But yeah, it was good, clean racing, and no, I enjoyed it.
Yep. Second stint, mate, you got onto the hards first. You done the undercut on Josh. Paid off, even though you got put out into traffic. But yeah, great racing there from yourself as well. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think Josh was quicker than me in the first stint. DRS definitely kept winning that race throughout the first stint, but in the second stint I feel like we're a bit more matched, and once Josh got his time penalties and all that, I think he knew just to try and get as much time on John as he could, otherwise that was going to compromise him as well and put him back to P3. But no, it was a good race, good little battle as well, and there was pressure throughout the whole race, so no, it was good.
So you close up on your championship by 10 points.
20 points now.
Yeah, so 20 points coming into the final 3 races. You're still within a battle with John. Can you see it coming down to Abu Dhabi?
I hope so. If I don't get in any more incidents or something like that. Some unfortunate things like last weekend have got in the way, but hopefully that's ruled out for the final couple races, and we can just have some good fast racing.
Yeah, so and one other thing, Bailey, I just want to get your opinion. From riding on board with yourself and Josh throughout pretty much the whole race, it seems to be that Josh manages his ERS a bit better. Were you constantly trying to push, or were you just not saving as much as what Josh does?
No, I probably just wasn't saving that much. I mean, he was in DRS, so he could afford to, I guess, save that little bit more because he was always going to gain that time back on the straights. But I was in a rhythm. I was always managing it perfectly. It may say it got down to about 5% and stuff, which it did. But I was just overtake down the straights and then none throughout the middle and last sector. So I was all good with that. No dramas there.
Yeah, I just saw even in the first stint when you were following Josh. Josh always had 20% more battery than what you had at any given time. So it was just a interesting factor there. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our top 3. So Bailey Ford with another win, Josh Banks with another podium, and John Lindenberg with another podium as well. Join us next week for the USA Grand Prix. Another very fun track to run side by side with these 3 guys chasing for the championship. So I'm Mark Bratby. Join us next week and we'll have a good weekend.